Hello dear students, welcome to a new session. In this session we'll be working on part 1 on finding the areas of some geometric figures. The first geometric figure that we have is the rhombus. And this is the shape of the rhombus. The rhombus is a parallelogram whose sides are equal in length. As you can see here, that AB is parallel to DC and AD is parallel to BC, where AB is equal to BC is equal to CD is equal to DA. The two diagonals of the rhombus are perpendicular and bisect each other. As you can also see on the figure, that AM is equal to CM is equal to BM is equal to DM, and AC is perpendicular to BD. First, let's see how to find the area of a rhombus knowing the length of its sides and its height. Since the rhombus is a parallelogram, then the area of the rhombus is equal to the base length multiplied by its corresponding height. And since the side length of the rhombus are equal, then the heights of the rhombus are also equal. So the area of the rhombus equals its side length times its height. Second, how can we find the area of the rhombus knowing the length of its two diagonals? The opposite figure represents a rhombus ABCD whose diagonals intersect at point M. Therefore, the area of the rhombus ABCD equals the area of triangle ABD plus the area of triangle CBD, which is half times BD times AM plus half times BD times CM. If we take BD as a common factor, so the area of the rhombus is half BD multiplied by AC. In other words, we can say that the area of the rhombus is half times the two diagonals multiplied by each other. So as we just said, the area of the rhombus is half of the product of the length of the two diagonals. Let's now go to exercise number 1. Choose the correct answer from those given. If the area of the rhombus is 20 centimeters squared, and the length of one of its diagonals is 5, then what is the length of the other diagonal? As we just said, that the area, which is 20, equals half multiplied by diagonal number 1 multiplied by diagonal number 2, which is in this case it's unknown. So the length of this diagonal that we want to find is 20 divided by half times 5, so it's 20 divided by 2.5, which is 8 centimeters. Question 2. If the area of the square is 50 centimeters squared, then what is the length of its diagonal? We know that the diagonal of the square equals square root of 2 times the area of the square. So it's square root of 2 times 50, then it is 10 centimeters. Question 3. The area of the square whose side length is 6 centimeters has what relation to the area of the square whose diagonal length is 8 centimeters? So the area of the first square is 6 times 6, which is 36 centimeters squared, where the area of the second one is half times 8 times 8, which is 32 centimeters squared. So the area of the first square is greater than the area of the second square. Question 4. If the perimeter of the rhombus is 24 and its area is 30, then what is its height? If the perimeter is 24, so the side of the rhombus is 24 divided by 4, which is 6 centimeters, then the height is the area divided by the side. So in this case, the height is 5 centimeters. Question 2 wants me to find the area of the following figures. The first figure that the question wants me to find its area is a rhombus with side length 6 centimeters and height 5 centimeters. Yes, we know that the area of the rhombus is the side times the height, so it's 6 times 5, which is 30 centimeters squared. For question 2, I want to find the area of the rhombus that has diagonal length 24 and 10. We know that the area of the rhombus, it's half times diagonal 1 times diagonal 2. So it's half times 24 times 10, which is 120 centimeters squared. Question 3. Find the area of a square whose diagonal length is 10 centimeters. The square, to find its area where the diagonal is given, so the area equals half times diagonal times diagonal, which in this case is half times 10 squared, which for sure is 50 centimeters squared. Let's now go to exercise number 3, an essay question. Question 1. A square whose area equals the square of the rectangle whose dimensions are 2 centimeters and 9 centimeters. How can we find the length of its diagonal? We know that the area of the square equals the area of the rectangle, so it's equal 9 times 2, which is 18 centimeters squared. And we also know that the diagonal of the square equals square root of 2 times the area. So it equals the square root of 2 times 18, then it is 6 centimeters long. Question 2. The perimeter of a rhombus is 64 centimeters and the measure of one of its angles is 60. Find its area. If this is the rhombus that we are talking about, so here, for example, this is A, B, C, D, and here are the two diagonals. And we know that the diagonals are perpendicular to each other. Since the perimeter of the rhombus is 64, then the side is equal to 64 divided by 4, which is 16 centimeters. So here, each side has a length of 16 centimeters. We know that the diagonal bisect the angle DAB. So if angle DAB was 60 and the diagonal bisect the angle, so each one of them will be 30. So the measure of angle MAB equals 60 divided by 2, which is 30 degrees. And this is point M. Since MB is half the length of the hypotenuse, So it's half the 16, which is 8 centimeters. So dB is double the 8, which is 16 centimeters, because the diagonals bisect each other's. So dm is also 8, so dB is 16. To find the length of AM, AM is square root of 16 squared minus 8 squared, as Pythagoras says. So it will be 8 square root of 3. So AC as the whole diagonal is the double of 8 root 3, which is 16 root 3. To find the area of the rhombus, it's equal half multiplied by the first diagonal multiplied by the second diagonal. So it's 64 square root of 3 centimeters squared. Let's now go to the evaluation part. In a rhombus, the ratio between the length of the two diagonals is 5 to 8, and its area is 2000 centimeters squared. Find the length of each of its diagonals. Here we have given that the ratio of D1 to D2 is 5 to 8. Let's make D1 is equal to 5x and D2 is equal to 8x. The area of the rhombus, as we know, is half times D1 times D2. So the 2000 is equal to half times 5x times 8x. So the 2000 equals 20x squared. X squared equals 2000 over 20, which is equal to 100. To find x, we make a square root of 100, so x equals 10. The question here wants us to find the length of each diagonal, so we'll go back to D1, that is 5x. I'll make it 5 times 10, which is 50. And D2 will be 8x, that is 8 times 10, which is 80, and for sure each one is centimeters long. At this point, dear students, we came to the end of our session. Thank you very much. Wishing you best of luck.